If you're under 13, piss off.
Hello YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Angry Dave's Adult RC. I'm your host, Angry Dave. Today we are here with a tiny little white helmet because we are finally going back to the welding trailer project. It's actually been a couple of years since I played with this. I have been saying all along that I am going to finish it, and I am going to finish it, and this is the next step. So we're going to take this white axial driver head and turn it into a welding helmet. First, we're going to use the dovetail saw and remove the back. Luckily, it doesn't need to focus to do that. Next, we're going to cut out the bottom and then use a file to go all the way around the edges here and clean it up. That takes care of the heavy shit. Now we can move on to a file for fine tuning. Still needs a little bit of fine tuning, but that's more or less what we're going for. So now that that's all carved out, we got where the mask is going to go marked. So next move is to cut that out. Alright, so here it is cut out, filed up a little bit. Now it's time to cut out a piece of styrene to use as the mask. Now we can glue it on and start shaping. Alright, so we got that piece of styrene glued in there. I don't know if that's focusing or not, I can't really tell, but it's in there, trust me. Now all we got to do is grab some sandpaper and file and touch it up. Okay, so now that we got the piece of styrene kind of filed and sanded smooth, flush with the helmet, it's looking pretty decent all the way around. I'd say it's probably time to start to paint. So first thing we're going to do is hose it with primer, and then we'll do some light sanding, get rid of any little defects there might be, and then move on to final color. Actually, one more thing I might do before I start the final paint is I might go ahead and make the head ring that goes inside the helmet. Alright, so I made the head strap out of Lexan. All you do basically is cut out a rectangle of Lexan and then cut it into a T, kind of like this. At the end, mark a hole, put a hole, and put a hole, and you'll see why when I assemble it. And then you can use your fingers to kind of pre-curve the stuff so it's a little bit more comfortable. And then once we paint it, it won't be clear anymore. So let me move on to the next step, which is going to be the there's usually a pair of adjusting knobs, one on either side of a welding helmet that is attached to this, and that's also what is going to hold that in place inside the helmet. Alright, so to make the next couple pieces, we're going to use this styrene rod, and we're going to chuck it into the drill and use it like a lathe. Alright, now that I cut it to length, I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to break out a file and reduce the diameter of about, I don't know, a quarter inch or so. Now that we have the two knobs cut, we just have to drill corresponding holes in the helmet, stick them through, and glue them on. So here it is, all fit, everything moves like it's supposed to, fits pretty well. So all I got to do now is cut the excess length off of the pins, and it's ready to assemble. So I'll go ahead and spray it down with some filler primer and sand it smooth so it can be painted and glued together. Alright, so actually before I put the filler primer on there were a couple of low spots. There was one right here, one right here, and a little bit of lineage from the old mask outline. So I put some plastic cement on there as filler. I'll go ahead and sand that smooth. Then we'll go ahead and start putting on the filler primer and getting the final sanding. So we got the plastic cement sanded down smooth, got a coat of filler primer on it, and then I went back, and you can probably see a little bit of red here and there. I used some of this. You can get it at any auto parts store. Make sure you get the stuff that's just one tube. Sometimes it's a tube of stuff and a tube of hardener, and that's a big pain in the ass, so you want to avoid that. Just get the tube of glazing and spot putty. It's great to use once you've already sprayed things with primer. Sorry, I can't fucking talk. And it sticks to the automotive grade primers, and it's a really nice, easy to sand filler, leaves a nice finish, pretty good stuff. So we got a little bit of that on there. We did a little bit more sanding. It's kind of probably hard to see. It doesn't really want to focus, but you can see that there's a little bit of red and stuff on there. So I'll go shoot it with one more heavy coat of filler primer and one more little sand if I see any defects, and it should be ready to paint. Alright, so I got it all sanded down nice and smooth, final coated with some primer. Everything is looking good. It is ready for the final color. I'm going to use this blue because I'm going to make it a Miller welding helmet. Miller is blue. So I'll go ahead and spray this on, and then I'll have to work on getting a Miller logo on it. Alright, we got her all painted blue. That's looking pretty good. Now the next thing we're going to do is work on the actual glass part of the mask. I cut a piece of Lexan, 10mm by 12mm. We're going to mask it off and put a little paint on it and then glue it on the mask. Now we got the edge trimmed, we can go ahead and put some black on it. Alright, so after the black around the rim dries, we can flip it over and paint the back with black. Now we attach the glass to the front of the mask. Alright, so here we go. The lens has been glued on, the knobs are in, the head strap is in. I still got to trim those pins to length, and I'll probably use some heat, maybe the soldering iron, to melt them just a little bit right at the end, and they'll kind of act like rivets and retain the head strap while also being as low profile as possible. So rather than masking tape and paint, we're actually going to use some of this white waterproof decal vinyl, and we're going to cut out a logo because I think it'll be a lot easier than trying to mask and paint on this little ass helmet. There we got a logo. The inside pegs trimmed. Just gonna hit them with the soldering iron real quick. And then I think we might be done. So there we go. We've gone from a blank axial driver head helmet to a Miller welding helmet. Came out pretty good. So here and there we'll keep on crossing off little projects like this, and sooner or later we'll have that whole welding trailer done. It'll only end up being, 5 or 6 years by the time it's done. Probably pushing that now, actually. Lee, if you're out there, drop in the comments, when did you send me that welder? I know it was a long time ago. Thanks again, by the way, and I will finish this project. But until next time, go ahead and drop us a like, leave us a comment, subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you next time on Adult RC, where grown-up time is playtime.